There are places on Earth so vast, so empty, that they seem almost untouched by time. The Gobi Desert stretches across southern Mongolia like an endless ocean of sand and stone. During the day, the heat blurs the horizon until the land and sky become almost indistinguishable. At night, the temperature drops without warning, and a silence settles over the dunes unlike anywhere else on Earth. For centuries, nomadic families have crossed these deserts with camels, following routes passed down through generations. They know where to find water. They know how to survive the relentless winds. And they know there are places where experienced travelers simply refuse to go, not because of the landscape, but because of what they believe lives beneath it. According to local legend, somewhere beneath the shifting sands hides a creature unlike anything recognized by modern science. Thick, crimson in color, and capable of killing without warning, it has become known around the world as the Mongolian Death Worm. Unlike many famous cryptids, this legend did not begin with blurry photographs or internet rumors. Long before cameras reached the Gobi, stories of the mysterious creature were already being shared around campfires by the people who call this harsh landscape home. Descriptions remain surprisingly consistent. Witnesses speak of a creature nearly a meter long, thick as a human arm, with a deep red body that appears almost swollen beneath the desert sun. It is said to move beneath loose sand before suddenly emerging without warning, disappearing just as quickly back beneath the surface. The stories become even stranger. Some claim the creature can spray a highly corrosive venom capable of killing animals almost instantly. Others insist it can generate a powerful electrical discharge, striking anything that ventures too close. No known animal possesses either ability. Modern biologists remain deeply skeptical. They point out that no verified specimen has ever been collected, no confirmed photographs exist, and no physical evidence has convinced the scientific community that such a creature exists. Yet the mystery refuses to disappear. Perhaps that is because the Gobi Desert is one of the least forgiving environments on Earth. Wind reshapes the dunes daily. Sandstorms erase tracks within minutes. Entire camps can disappear beneath drifting sand, leaving little evidence that anyone was ever there. Searching the Gobi is unlike searching almost anywhere else. Before sunrise, expedition vehicles slowly leave camp, crossing mile after mile of open desert, while the air remains cool enough to travel safely. Every piece of equipment is checked before departure. Water supplies are counted carefully. Satellite radios are tested. Once the convoy begins moving, there are few opportunities to turn back. As the morning progresses, the landscape appears almost unchanged. Endless dunes stretch toward the horizon, while rocky outcrops rise unexpectedly from the sand. Heat shimmer begins to distort distant objects, until even nearby hills seem to float above the desert floor. Every few miles, the expedition stops. Researchers leave their vehicles to inspect unusual disturbances in the sand. Measurements are recorded. Soil samples are collected. Photographs are taken before the wind gradually begins erasing every trace of what they have found. Most discoveries prove ordinary. Tracks belong to desert foxes, small reptiles, burrowing insects perfectly adapted to one of the harshest climates on Earth. Yet occasionally, the team discovers something more unusual. A line of disturbed sand leading nowhere. Fresh impressions that vanish beneath loose dunes. Strange depressions with no obvious source. Nothing conclusive. Nothing impossible. But enough to keep the investigation moving deeper into one of the most isolated deserts on the planet. Interest in the Mongolian Death Worm reached far beyond Mongolia during the early 20th century. Explorers returned home carrying stories they had heard from local guides, describing a creature that few outsiders had ever taken seriously. Among those intrigued by the legend was the celebrated American explorer Roy Chapman Andrews. Although Andrews never claimed to have seen the creature himself, he documented the stories shared by Mongolian officials and travelers, helping introduce the mystery to the Western world. His writings inspired generations of researchers. Throughout the decades that followed, multiple expeditions crossed the Gobi, hoping to answer a simple question: could an undiscovered animal still be hiding beneath one of the world's largest deserts? Most teams returned with nothing more than photographs, soil samples, and stories. But the absence of evidence was not always viewed as evidence of absence. The Gobi covers hundreds of thousands of square miles. Much of its terrain remains difficult to access. And even today, vast stretches receive very little scientific attention. Searching every dune would be impossible, and investigators often admit that the desert itself is their greatest obstacle. As afternoon fades toward evening, the landscape changes once again. Long shadows stretch across the sand while temperatures begin dropping rapidly. The relentless wind returns, slowly erasing tire tracks, footprints, and every sign that the expedition was ever there. Researchers gather around portable tables, reviewing photographs captured throughout the day. GPS locations are compared. Samples are cataloged. Notes are recorded before darkness makes further exploration impossible. Another day ends without definitive proof, yet no one seems discouraged. Every expedition understands that discovery rarely comes quickly. Sometimes the greatest value lies not in finding the answer, but in eliminating possibilities one careful step at a time. Skeptics argue that the legend is likely a combination of folklore and mistaken identity. The Gobi is home to numerous reptiles, burrowing animals, and unusual geological formations that can easily appear mysterious under harsh desert conditions. Add generations of storytelling, and an ordinary encounter can slowly evolve into an extraordinary legend. Others believe the reports may have originated from an animal that once existed but has since disappeared. Fossils continue to emerge from the Gobi, revealing species unknown to science only decades ago. The desert has surprised researchers before, reminding us that our understanding of Earth's history is never truly complete. Supporters point to the remarkable consistency found across independent accounts. People separated by distance and time often describe a similar creature, living in the same environment and behaving in nearly identical ways. While consistency alone does not prove the legend, it raises questions that remain difficult to dismiss entirely. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not the creature itself. It is why the story refuses to fade. Legends usually disappear as knowledge expands. Yet the Mongolian Death Worm continues to capture the imagination of explorers, scientists, and storytellers alike. Every new generation arrives with better equipment, better maps, and better technology. Still, they leave the desert with many of the same questions asked a century ago. As night settles over the Gobi, the expedition prepares to leave. Engines start quietly before the convoy disappears into the darkness, leaving the dunes exactly as they found them. Within hours, the wind will erase every tire track, every footprint, and every reminder that anyone was ever there. The desert keeps its secrets remarkably well. Perhaps the Mongolian Death Worm is nothing more than an enduring legend shaped by isolation, harsh conditions, and centuries of storytelling. Or perhaps, somewhere beneath those endless shifting sands, beyond the last set of footprints, and hidden beneath a landscape that changes with every passing wind, something still waits, not discovered, not understood, only remembered.